Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Let's kick this off on a Monday. So Meghan Markle is on the cover of Harper's Bazaar. Not quite makeup-free, but pretty darn close. A writer for The Independent says, barefaced photo shoots are meant to show bravery, but they're really just humble bragging packaged as empowerment, and it's not helping anyone. Okay, that's that person's takes. But are makeup-free photo shoots humble brags, or are they empowering? What do we think here?
You
feel empowered?
I think they could be empowering for some women, women who, who are scared, to leave the house without a full face of makeup on. They might see some celebrities doing it and think, oh, I can do that as well. But I think we all don't look like Meghan Markle, you know what I mean? And in which case, that's where I kind of have a bugaboo like the author did over the word brave. Like, is it brave for Meghan Markle to not wear makeup?
I mean, it is brave a little bit. It's not capital B brave, but I think it is a little bit brave, just to take that as an option to some degree. Again, Meghan, it's hard to this past, a couple of weeks ago, I went and I got a facial done, and I haven't had a facial done in a while, and it's a lovely treat. And as I was leaving this place, I said, oh, well, how much is that serum you used on my face? And the woman said to me, it's $400. And I went, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pass on that. And she said, well, yeah, it's a real skin vestment. And I said,
what does that mean?
But
what does that even mean?
What does that even mean? But this got me thinking about people who can afford things like that, people like Meghan Markle. So not only is she stunning and gorgeous, but she also has the skincare level that she's spending who knows how much money. That's not a regular...
Like, would you think it would be... I was thinking... Oh, sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, let's be honest. She's not barefaced. She has makeup on.
She does?
But she has the makeup, no makeup look, which is she's not doing full lashes and contouring and all the stuff that we're accustomed to seeing. But her makeup artist is credited for this fashion shoot. So the fact that we've been saying she's barefaced, no, she's not. She still has makeup on, people. So I feel like before we go further, we just gotta call a spade a spade. She still has makeup on, but you were gonna say something.
Well, I can't remember now.
Okay. You know what?
I know. Would we call it brave if, like, I was thinking, I hate when people use that term brave if you don't wear makeup. Oh my God, you're so brave. Or brave if you take a photo in a bathing suit. You're so brave. That's not brave. That's just your body and your face. But then I softened up a bit and thinking of women. What if some women who have a great deal of acne or have rosacea, and it might be brave. It might be very difficult for them to go out.
You're talking to my teenage self. I had such bad skin growing up, really bad skin. I went all the way on all the medications for it. I've been self-conscious about my skin my whole life. And so I leaned into makeup early, not just because I love makeup, because I grew up on the soap operas and always wanted to wear thank you, Y&R. But also because as I got through puberty and I started to have really bad skin, makeup literally was the only way I could leave the house and go to school. And especially high school, like we don't have to think too far about how hard that is. And I struggled with my skin for a very long time. So makeup is also an armor for me. So for me to not wear makeup is brave because I'm so self-conscious about my skin. A couple of times over the years on this show, oh, that doesn't need an applause. You're very kind. A few times over the 13 years of the show, many times people have said on the panel, like you guys, oh, we should do a makeup-free edition of The Social. And I looked in horror. Are you girls crazy?
Yeah, absolutely.
But that would be brave. And we've done a lot of photo shoots in our career. We get to do fun things like that. I was with my girlfriends in Montana a few years ago, and we had this beautiful sort of bonding session with a woman who goes by the name of Nikki Magic. Her name is Nikki McKean. And
is that her birth name?
No, Nikki Magic, because she does beautiful meditations.
And retreats.
She's also a beautiful photographer, and she challenged all of us after we had this cathartic afternoon together to do a photo shoot with her without makeup. And I said, oh, no, thank you, I'll pass. She convinced me, and I'm gonna show you. I'm not doing this because I'm not humble bragging. This took every ounce of me to pull out some photos where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go no makeup.
Oh!
Okay?
Yeah, come on.
But I'll tell you something. I'm gonna tell you what I think about this. I'm not looking for applause.
It's a little bit of a
you knew you were gonna get applause, but you knew you were gonna get it because you look good.
I know I look good. I didn't think that I would look that good. That's my point.
So was it a lesson?
And I looked back at it and I said, what have I been so tied up about for all of these years? I look amazing.
So what you're saying?
I look amazing.
You know what's interesting? These types, first of all, you do look amazing, but these conversations only happen when we're talking about a specific type of woman. We've had these conversations because Alicia Keys has gone makeup-free, Pamela Anderson's gone makeup-free, Lady Gaga, but these women are all conventionally very attractive. And I'll tell you who's been going makeup-free in Hollywood and it never sparks a conversation. Whoopi Goldberg.
Wow.
Yes.
She's been going makeup-free before Zendaya was even born. We never talked about it. Tilda Swinton, actress Tilda Swinton, refuses. And this is her natural face, and we never discuss it. And another wonderful actress, Frances McDormand, has been going makeup-free.
Right. Good point.
So this, to me, is speaking more about our, like, the box we like to put pretty people in, where it's like, you're pretty, so you're supposed to look like this.
Yep.
You're supposed to put the lashes and everything on, and I think that we have to look at ourselves and put that mirror in front of our faces and go, why are we giving her such a hard time for wearing makeup in a photo shoot?
Yeah.
She's
So
wearing
makeup
less.
free on the social tomorrow?
Yes!
Let's do it. I have
I'm
no
just
problem.
kidding. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Let's do it.
Editors, cut that and then do something with it. Make her have to do it. Okay, let's move on. Here's a question for you. What's wrong with having sex in a wool cardigan? It's like a Tuesday for me. But anyway, the internet is having a field day with a scene in Wicked for Good where Cynthia Erivo slips into this little number just as things are heating up between her and Jonathan Bailey. So this, if you were online this weekend, this cardigan caused quite the storm or the stir. So why do you think it's ruffling so many feathers or making us laugh and bringing us joy?
Okay, remember that mirror I just told you guys to hold up to your faces about, like, you know, the way we judge women? Keep that mirror up. Keep that mirror up, and I want you to think about this. Why, when we think about a woman who's trying to be sexy to have sex with a man, she's only wearing a specific outfit? It's skimpy, it's crotchless, it's very uncomfortable, it's lace, it's red, and this is why we are pushing back against her wearing a cardigan. What's wrong with a cardigan? Maybe it makes her feel confident. Maybe there's a breeze in the room and she's like, I can't get to my orgasm if there's a breeze on me. We don't know, but I think it's completely changed I'm like, it made me think about, like, yeah, why are we making such a fuss? Because women are supposed to look like this when it comes to having sex with a man.
I think it's that cardigan, maybe. I don't think there's
what's wrong with that cardigan?
I didn't see it, to be honest.
As a knitter, I'd like to know what you have a problem
I think it
with
looks a little like it's falling apart.
I have a theory about why everyone was obsessed with it, because they took so much effort to build this fantastical world with CGI, with sets, with costumes.
Okay.
It's like a dream fairyland.
So you wanted
And then
Elphaba in a thong?
No, she comes out in a cardigan that looks like it's in the back of my closet. Do you know what I mean? And you're kind of like,
But she's
this
a
isn't the
witch.
land of Oz.
But she's
it looks
a
like
witch.
something from a Nora Ephron movie or something, like if she pulled out an iPad. It's like, just checking the New York Times this morning with a cup of tea. Like, it doesn't fit the world.
But that's the thing. What world? The world that we have in our head as to what a woman is supposed to look like when
the
she's in
world
a
of
sex.
Oz. Like
Well,
the Wizard of Oz.
She's a witch since when do we...
Exactly.
So what is a witch supposed to wear?
Well, witchy things out of the world of Oz. Like, everything else is so stylized and so over the top.
She wears a crooked hat.
Exactly.
So it goes with the cardigan, the hat, the crooked hat, and the loose cardigan.
I'll be honest, I had no idea what all the fuss was about because I haven't watched the second movie yet, but y'all are gonna make me want to watch it.
There you go. You're welcome. Most of us grew up knowing that we'd have to focus on developing our career before having kids, but today many young conservative women are flipping that script. The comment section podcast host Reagan Conrad, for instance, discourages egg freezing. If we as women are putting our eggs on ice for a decade to make sure that our career is thriving, we have a prioritization problem. That's what she said. Ooh. So does the modern idea of establishing your career before family highlight a prioritization problem?
Oof.
Audience?
Loaded.
That's a meaty topic.
Yeah.
It's so hard to dive into that with that setup because it's so loaded with the conservative movement having so much business in women's ovaries, and I just have to say that part. It really is like had it. But if I take it away from that, far away from that, in terms of, like, I can only speak for myself. If in an ideal world would I have wished that I had started when I was in my late 20s? Yes, I often...
To have a child?
To have a child.
Yeah.
I do wish that. I started in my late 30s, and the thing is that, like, I stay up at night sometimes and I do the calculations of, like, how old will Jaya be at this milestone? How old will I be?
Yeah.
And, like, will I ever be a grandma? So, like, it sucks on many levels that I started late. But the truth is that I know, A, I wouldn't have been ready to have a child in my 20s. I wasn't ready. And I couldn't have stopped my career at that point without paying a penalty. Some people will say, well, how do you know for sure? Well, I don't know for sure, but I do know the way my career was in terms of a trajectory. And here's the thing, I spent hours and hours and hours in my 20s. I was devoted to my work. I went on weekend trips. You cannot do that as a parent if you want to be a good parent. So to me, it's like, which lane of crappy are you gonna choose?
But you also did it feel like you had to choose in your 20s, like when you were 25? Because you didn't even, it wasn't even really on your radar,
I wasn't
right?
even sure I wanted to be a parent in my 20s. I hadn't even come to that as a
So
conclusion.
thank God you didn't have a child.
I'm a better mom now, for sure. Thank God, exactly.
Because I'm in the opposite scenario. I get what you're saying about the math thing, and I think older moms. I was told I had a geriatric pregnancy, so just sit with that one for a second. Yeah, that was awful. But when you do that math, it can start to play tricks on you. Not only was I not ready, and I also didn't know if I wanted kids. Thank God I had Marqueza when I was 37. She has a life that I could never have provided her if I did that a decade earlier. Plain and simple. And that's number one, finances. Because I don't know if anybody knows in Toronto what daycare, costs are. I would have had to either give up my career or had to wait to be able to even afford childcare. Those are very real things. But also, the woman I am, the woman I was when I had her at 37, and who I might have been at 27, I'm giving her all of me, the best of me at this age. So this idea of choosing, I think that this is the problem when it comes to work and womanhood or becoming a parent, if you can even become a parent, if you even have a partner that you want to have children with. All of these things matter because it's not us that's broken. The system was never made for women who want to become mothers. So when everybody talks about this thing about we have to choose, why do we have to choose? Because the system was never made for us. So let's just flip this discussion.
And nothing has changed. And also, I'd love to have that conversation with her because she's assuming that every woman is married and settled and ready to have a baby by a certain age. And the reality is, there's some women who have to freeze their eggs because perhaps they had fibroids and they had to have a hysterectomy at a very young age. Or perhaps they just haven't found the person they want to have children with, because that's a very important, serious conversation and decision to make. And she's just assuming that every woman in her 20s is married, ready to go, has a great spouse, has parents who are there to be able to take care and babysit. And it's like, not everybody's life is so cookie cutter. So I wish that she just broadened out her thinking and just be like, don't just assume that everybody who's freezing their eggs is having the same situation. If you don't meet your partner till you're 37, 44, what else are you gonna do about it? Just make a baby with some idiot in your 20s just because this is the time to do it?
Please, no.
Ask somebody who's made that mistake. She'll tell you, don't do that.
I think you hitting on something. I think this highlights the problem of always putting all women into one box. There are women in their 20s who don't care about a career and they desperately want children. Then there are a lot of people who are the inverse of that. But thank you. But this stat, you guys, 75% of liberal women between 18 and 35 are childless, compared with 40% of conservative women. And 15 years ago, there was only a 5 percentage point difference between them. So that tells us something, and I'm trying to figure out what it tells us, but I think a big part of it is, it's maybe about worldview. It's not whether women want children more than other women. It's kind of like who feels more secure about bringing in children to the world right now. And I think that might be a big factor in this. There are a lot of women who are just like,
True.
Yeah, that's
Did you guys hear there was just last week, was it last week? Yeah, I think it was pretty recently. The New York Times released this article. Did women ruin the workplace? Did anybody catch that? Do you remember that whole? I mean, it caused a major backlash. They had to change the title of the article and podcast from "Did women ruin the workplace?" and they changed it to "Did women
or did feminism?
Did liberal feminism ruin the workplace?" And there was this debate that the reason why the workplace is so woke is because liberal women come in there with all these things about child things, egg freezing, and I need my mental health breaks, and then
lunch breaks.
Those lunch breaks.
How dare they?
And the response was really interesting. There was a scholar named Reshma Saujani. She's the founder of Moms First, and her response was, "No, women didn't ruin the workplace. We just demanded it be fixed." So that is this idea of, the problem ain't us. Does it matter, though, how much a fashion influencer actually knows about the industry?
Yes, I think it matters when they start getting legit jobs and calling themselves experts. I think We're all good when you're in your bedroom trying on that fast fashion and walking down your hallway to like some little music, that's fine. But the minute you step into a real situation, and we've had that situation in television, where we've had people be booked on a show because they are a fashion influencer with a huge following, and then when they get here and it's time to ask them questions or they have to dress real bodies, it doesn't go so well for them. And then we're like, well, you called yourself a fashion expert. So I understand where she's coming from, because there's a lot more to fashion. I know it's a very frivolous business for a lot of people, but there's a history. It's connected to culture and politics and so many more things. And when you have somebody who walks into a space and they don't even know who, say, Donna Karan is, it's like, how are you in this space calling yourself an expert when you don't know who these people are, or the history of the things that you are wearing? So I totally understand her frustration.
Does it matter at all, like, I guess maybe who the audience is? Like, we know Kelly Cutrone. Like, I didn't know Kelly Cutrone from fashion initially because I watched her on The Hills. You remember her from The Hills? With Lauren Conrad and Whitney Port. Anyway, so that's how I knew Kelly, and then I found out that she was in fashion. But it's like saying, I get what she's saying, but to me it just sounds like, doesn't every industry or, you know, space have the old guard criticizing the new guard coming in?
Absolutely.
Like, is this a little sour grapes? Because I think to myself, if you know who Kaya Gerber is, does anybody know who Kaya Gerber is?
Oh, she's the daughter.
She is the daughter of
Cindy
Crawford. She's a beautiful, gorgeous, successful model. Our generation knows the real story. Her mother and the whole generation of the 90s supermodel. We know them, we lived it, we loved it. But there's a generation that follows Kaya who has no idea that Cindy Stinkin' Crawford was one of the supermodels that really changed the industry. So so we respect the history, where I get Kelly's probably like, these kids, they don't know. But you know what, Kelly? They don't know what they don't know.
But it also depends on the audience of who's consuming the influencer stuff, because it doesn't bother me that they don't know anything about fashion, because I don't even know the sound of their voices. I'm just looking at the pictures like, oh, a chunky sweater with loafers, I'm gonna do that at home. But I totally get Kelly, and someone who is deeply invested in fashion. I only compare it to maybe someone of my vintage who had a career maybe reviewing books or reviewing movies, and then they see these young coming uppers behind them who are being like, I am now a movie critic, I am now a book critic. I have read 10 books, and I have watched 4 movies.
Thank you.
And so that's why I can I can relate to Kelly just being like, there is ego in play. It's like, sir.
And how are you looking to the future if you don't know the history of what you're talking about?
That's an excellent point.
I agree. I mean, what isn't that the adage is like, if you can't, you know, be an abstract artist until you know how to actually do
the drawing,
right?
Yeah.
But I think that in the weird way, in the influence, like in this space online, I feel like there's room for everyone, right? Like, I don't care personally when I follow, let's say, an influencer who's gonna show me how to do a capsule wardrobe. I'm looking for somebody who has like maybe a similar body type, someone whose vibe I like, whatever, good advice, I'll follow them, blah, blah, blah. But there's a difference between that person, like that person shouldn't expect to go to the Met Gala, right? Like,
But
it's
they
just
do.
about, I don't
think
know.
that's
It's
her
like,
frustration.
But I do think
they're getting legit jobs at Vogue magazine in these real spaces, and that's
But
the
right
issue.
in that interview, actually, later on, Kelly actually said there's a place for influencers. And so I think that there is. I think you just have to know your lane, and that's it. Like, know
You
where
know what
you're
we're saying?
And they don't.
I think, again, old guard, new guard, we just want to see the kids earning their place. That's what we want to see it.
We sound so old.
We do sound old, and I don't care.
I don't care.
I don't care. We all worked hard to be up here,
Yeah.
okay? We all worked very hard.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.